Hello and welcome to the BI WizKid YouTube channel. Have you noticed that more and more nowadays end users want reports to look like websites? It's strange, right? But it's familiar to them and it's familiar to us. And so when we create something that resembles a website, like a navigation menu, they absolutely love it. Now, in this video, we'll be looking at how to create a stunning, customized navigation menu just like this, where we will use our own icons and images to create an impressive hover over effect. Before we get there, we'll also look at using the inbuilt navigator option within Power BI, which is quicker and a little easier to put in place, but doesn't quite have that wow effect. But we will customize it to match our own branding and color scheme. Now, this is an updated version of my existing video that I did on navigation years ago, in which I extended the use of bookmarks to create an awesome navigation menu. And as of today, the method is still valid, so make sure you check that out as well. Now, I'm excited about this new menu. Are you ready for this? Because I'm ready for this. Awesome navigation menu coming right up. Hashtag boat. Okay, so let's get straight into it. Here's a Power BI report based on the Canadian social statistics with additional pages on unemployment, sickness and overtime. Now, for the purposes of this report, I've simply duplicated some of the pages. I've left some space at the top here to create a menu, because nowadays users want that website look and feel, right? Now, of course, there's a standard Power BI navigation on the left, but no one ever uses that and can't ever find it, right? So it's nice to create one of your own. So let's get to it now. So from the insert menu at the top, we're going to select the drop down menu under buttons, and down at the bottom we have the option for navigator. I'm going to hover over this navigator. I'm going to select the navigator pane. Page navigator. In an instant, you'll have a navigation pane created for you, which you can resize and reposition at the top here. What Power BI does at this point is picks up all the pages that you've created at the bottom and creates you a simple menu with buttons with the additional hover over effect at the top in your navigator pane. To use it whilst in designer mode, we hold down the control key and click on unemployment, for example, and that will take us to the unemployment page. Now on here we have to do the same thing. So if we go to our insert tab at the top, we're going to find our buttons option, to the navigator at the bottom, and then click on the page navigator. And this will create us another menu, and notice how this time the unemployment is the one that is highlighted, indicating that we're on that particular page. Okay. So as you've probably realized, that what we'll need to do is add this to each individual page. Okay. Now, before we do that, what I want to do is format this pane so that we don't have to keep applying the same format to every single one that we create. And then we'll simply copy these over afterwards. Now, just to advise you that I'm using the new formatting pane. So if you're on Power BI desktop version of Feb 22 or newer, you have the option to enable the new format pane in the preview features in the options and settings. If you're on an older version, let me tell you, it's a lot easier. So the options to find the fill that we're about to do is much easier. Now, with the navigator pane selected, ensure the visual option is selected and expand the style tab. With the state set to default, I'm going to expand the fill option and select the green. And also change the font color to white. Now we're starting to match the color scheme. Hovering over the green icons, you'll notice the background color changed to grey, yet the font color is still white, so I need to handle that as well. I'm going to go back to my style option on the right hand side and change the state to on hover. And then whilst that's selected, I'm going to change the font color to a dark grey. Now as I hover over the green icons, you'll see the font shows up a lot better. The last thing I want to change is the selected option. At the moment this is showing up as black, so I'm going to change that state to selected. and change a fill option to orange, and then the font color to a dark grey. Now the navigation menu is looking how we want, matching our branding and our color scheme exactly how we want it. Okay. Now we want an easy way to now copy this across to another page, right? Now it's easy as a copy and paste. So we're going to highlight the visual. We're going to use our Control-C on our keyboard. We're going to click on another page. And we're going to hit Control-V to paste. And you'll see as it pastes the exact same format, and it also highlights the current page that you're on with our selected value as well. We're simply going to go to our other page, our final page, and paste that there as well using our Control-V. Okay, great stuff. So now let's control click our statistics home and go back to our home page. Now on the home page we've already added an unformatted navigation pane. So another trick we can use here is use our format painter. Now not many people know that we can use a format painter across pages. So if we go back to one of our other pages, highlight the navigation menu, from the home tab click on the format painter, go back to our home page using the tabs at the bottom, hover over our menu, and with the paintbrush highlighted, just click. And just like that, it paints a format onto our home page menu as well. And that's that. So as we publish this report to the Power BI service, you'll see it's just a normal single click use of the visual. So as we single click through, nicely navigates through, shows our selected value as well, and so we can see exactly what page we're on when clicking through that navigation. So that was a starter. Now let's move on to the main course. Okay, so here we go. So just a reminder that this is the awesome navigation menu that we're going to be looking to create right now. Okay, so we're going to use our own images, our own icons, and still create that hover over effect, which we're getting here on this view. Okay, now I will be working at a reasonable pace, but hopefully you'll be able to stay with me on this. So let's get back to our clay canvas and start creating this menu. With some blank space selected on the canvas, let's go to our Insert tab at the top, and we're going to select Buttons, and then I'm going to click on Blank Button. Okay, I'm going to drag my blank button over into my navigation area, and I'm going to change the size to match my visual. Okay, so around 75:81 is my setting. Okay. Now I'm going to go back over to my Style tab. I'm going to make sure that the state is set to default. I'm going to expand my Fill tab. I'm going to switch it on and then click on the Browse button. And I'm going to browse to a set of images that I've got saved. I'm going to click on the first one, which is my home. I'm going to change the image fit to fit. And I'm going to remove the transparency to 0. Now there's a border currently around my image, so I'm going to turn off that border and then switch off this icon option as well. Okay, so now I've got a nice button image available to me there. I'm going to add the on hover now, so I'm going to expand my style again, change my state to on hover. I'm going to find my fill option again. I'm going to cross off the existing value, click on browse, and then here I've got another set of images with a different background color. I'm going to select my home option. I'm going to select the fit to fit. And because the other settings are already set, I can leave those as they are. And then as I hover over my button, you can see I've got a nice hover over effect there. Now to save on the formatting, again, we can copy and paste, so Control-C, Control-V. I'm going to copy this button, just put it right next to the side of it. And then the only thing I need to do is change the images on there. So I'm going to click on this, expand the style. I'm going to go down to my fill option. I'm going to remove the existing image there, browse, select my number 2, make sure I've got my white option first, select the image fit to fit, and now I'm going to go back to my state, change this to on hover, go back down to my fill, remove the existing value there, and then change it to the grey version, number 2. Okay, and again set that to fit, and then as I check this one, you'll see that this has got the same effect there. So now it's a simple case of rinse and repeat. So we're going to copy and paste our visual again. We're going to go over to our style option, make sure that the state is set to default, go to our fill option, browse for an image, select our first view of our images, select number 3, make sure the image fit is set to fit, change the state to on hover, browse for our grey image, number 3, set to fit, and that's our third button done there as well. Okay, and as you've guessed again, copy and paste. It's the easiest way to do it because it already has the formatting already set, so all the border removal, the icon removal, and all the other bits and pieces that you actually don't want to repeat over and over. We want to do the minimum we can. So the minimum we need to do is just change the images that are in the backgrounds. Okay, so here again, I'm going to select the image, set it to fit, and we're going to do on hover and do the same there as well. Now, once we've done all this, we're then going to add our actions to each of these buttons. So at the moment, we haven't added any action to them, we're just adding them onto the page to get that visual effect, to get that hover over working, and then we can simply copy and paste across to the other pages as well. Okay, so here we are, we've got our 4 pages created, so I'm going to create an extra couple here, and this one is going to be my help option. So I'm going to change my default setting, my default image to the help option, which is question mark. There we go. Change it to fit. On hover, and then change it to the same image as well. Now, of course, if you wanted to, we could do something a bit different. You could have a different hover over image. So as you hover over it, you have a different image. So you can play around with that as well. You don't always have to have the same image in the background doing the hover over. So finally, the last image here, just going to add in a filters option, white version first, add our filter, and then set that to fit. Now these icons, these were ones that we designed ourselves, but you may have ones that are used in your marketing department or your organization that you can request from your website, that you actually, ones that are actually used on your website as well. Your web designers or the web team might have a set of icons that you can use there as well. So contact the relevant people in the organization to get you a copy of those images or icons that you can then use in your report as well, because it brings that familiarity to the end user as well, and that's what you want to do. So now that we've created all our icons, we've created our hover over effects, let's add some action to each of these buttons now. Okay, so the first homepage, we don't need to do anything because we're on the homepage. So let's click on the second icon. We're going to go to our action option. We're going to switch that on. We're going to click on the type page navigation, and then we're going to select our second page, which is going to be unemployment. We can add a tooltip if we want. I'm just going to leave it for now. I'm going to click on the third icon, switch on the action there, page navigation, and then click on the next option there. Click on the next icon, switch on the action, page navigation, and then go to our next page. Now the action for our question mark, you can see we've got an option here for Q&A, and we can add our Q&A option in there as well. Okay, now to copy this across, we're going to use our lasso feature. Okay, so if you highlight all of the images at once, you can do like a lasso feature, make sure all the images are covered, and then you'll see that they're all selected. Use your Control-C on your keyboard, navigate to another page, and then hit Control-V, and you'll see that it pastes the exact same visuals in the exact same place. Let's go to our sickness analysis, and then Control-V again, and then finally to our overtime analysis, and then click on Control-V there as well. So it pastes the exact same values there as well. Now once we've pasted the navigation icons, so now that we've pasted all our buttons on each of our pages, let's go back and handle a couple of other things. So first of all, we want to set the selected color. Okay, now notice that on this button option we don't have an unselected option like we did in the navigator option previously. So this time we're going to change the default fill option to the gray image. Okay, so on the home page, I'm going to go back to my fill option. I'm going to set the default image to the gray option, set that to fill, and then you'll see that that will stay as gray, showing us that that's the page that we're currently on. Okay, now let's go to our unemployment page, click on our second image, expand the style, and change the default fill option to the gray version, just like that. Set the fit to fit, and then that's that. Now the other thing we need to do is we need to set the action for our home page. Okay, so let's click on our home page button, expand the action, set it to page navigation, and then to the home page. Okay, let's go to our sickness, and we're going to just update the icons there. Click on the icon, expand the style, change the default fill option to the grey version to show that we're currently on that page. There we go. Set to fit. And then we're going to change the action for our home page and set that to go back to our home page, just like that. Okay, and then finally our overtime page, our selected value or our default value for that icon is going to be grey as well. Okay, so as you can see, there's a little more work involved in getting your custom icons, images and buttons working, but the effect and the visual appeal that it brings to the end user is much better than what you get from the out-of-the-box options in Power BI, and the users will appreciate it and they'll be able to relate to it, and that's the key thing. You want it to be familiar, you want it to be recognizable, and you know, it'll make the end user a lot more comfortable in using the reports. They'll know where they are and where to navigate to and understand what these icons mean. And then when it comes to things like senior management, board members, when they start seeing the effects that you've created within a Power BI report that they didn't think were possible, you've taken it from the website, so you've made a fully consistent sort of look and feel from the website to the reports, you know, they will be wowed, and you can sort of come back here at that point and let me know how much of an increase you've got in your sort of salary at that point. If only it was that easy. But look, thanks for watching. Appreciate you taking the time to watch this video on navigation. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for any future updates. I've been the BI Whiz Kid. It's been a pleasure, and until the next time, see you soon. Take care.